to Revolution Report, the show that highlights pressing issues, uplifts community voices, and questions the status quo. I'm Sarah Livings-Walsh.
And I'm Analisa Venolia.
We felt the need to dive deeper into societal problems and explore subjects from diverse perspectives. So join us in the revolution. This episode, we're going to be talking about Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and his death plan for the American people. That sounds like an outrageous statement to make, but we're going to prove why it's not.
This man is a danger to American lives, and we need to seriously talk about the impact his actions are having. While RFK Jr. is a joke of a man and absolutely should be mocked, and we will mock him, we have to take his actions seriously.
So, without hesitation, let's get into it.
To start us off, let's talk about RFK Jr. and DOJ's cuts to the Department of Health and Human Services. RFK Jr. is the HHS secretary, so you would think that he'd be looking out for Americans' health and well-being, but he's in fact doing the opposite.
Over 20,000 people have been let go from this department, which will have huge impacts on health resources. Among those jobs lost are positions that are vital, like services like Meals on Wheels.
Meals on Wheels is an incredible program that brings food to seniors. According to The Guardian, nearly 13 million seniors in the United States are threatened by or experience hunger, so threats to programs like Meals on Wheels would have drastic effects.
Nicole Jorwick, the chief of advocacy and campaigns at Caring Across Generations, a nonprofit that advocates for aging Americans, disabled people, and their caregivers, said, quote, "It is not hyperbolic to say that we're going to be leaving people hungry, and this literally has life and death implications. This is not about a nice-to-have program. These programs are necessities in the lives of seniors all over this country," end quote. So, Make America Healthy Again, MAHA, stupid name.
It is.
Stupid name, is a commission established by Donald Trump in February of 2025, headed by RFK Jr. It claims to address a, quote, growing health crisis in America and focuses on things like nutrition, chronic illness, vaccines, drug safety, and mental health. But in reality, this commission is not looking out for the health of Americans. It is a way to implement eugenic ideology and harm the American people. What he is doing right now is survival of the fittest. What he has done to children with the measles outbreak, not caring who lives and who dies, letting children die, he has gone on the record and said that he doesn't care.
Yeah, it's clear that there is no humanity behind his ideology. He does not care about the loss of American lives. And we will absolutely be diving more into that later, but it is crazy to see this in all parts of his plans for the American people.
Yes, and something that he is planning on doing, connecting to Meals on Wheels, a supplementary program, you could say. He is planning on giving food boxes in replace of Meals on Wheels with perishable foods. Do you think that those perishable foods are going to safely get to the elderly generation? Do you think that that is going to help people? No. This is a way to kill people.
It's like under the guise of, oh, it's healthier because it doesn't have preservatives, all these things. In reality, what that means is there's going to be less food for these people because it goes bad that much faster. Instead of having something that you can keep on your shelf for up to months, maybe even up to years if necessary as backup. Hey, I can count on this as a way to get energy into my body. no matter when I consume it, if the produce goes bad, you're out of luck.
No. Again, this is his ideology. This is his stance. He is making it well known that he wants a, quote, superior race. So he is taking out the vulnerable. He is taking out marginalized communities. He is harming them and starving them.
Yeah, there is no consideration for human life at all. And he doesn't care who he hurts in the pushing of his eugenic ideas. RFK Jr. is not only threatening the lives of seniors, but, as we touched on before, he's also threatening the lives of other vulnerable populations. He is currently planning to end a federal Narcan distribution program that has saved countless lives.
For those who don't know, Narcan is a medicine that rapidly reduces the effects of an opioid overdose. It's a life-saving drug, which can be seen in the CDC statistic that shows a 24% decrease in overdose deaths over the course of 2023 to 2024 due to its increased use. That's a huge reduction, and RFK Jr. will be responsible for the inevitable rise in overdose deaths that occur if this plan goes through.
And something that we just wanted to note with his plans to eliminate the federal funding for Narcan is that RFK Jr. himself is an addict. He was previously addicted to heroin and has spoken about this openly, and has also previously spoken favorably about Narcan. So this is an incredibly hypocritical move for him, and it just goes to show how callous he is to the lives of Americans. He claims that he wants to eliminate Narcan funding to push for solutions in other areas, but if the government isn't spending money to develop social institutions that will actually support people as they recover from addiction, all that's going to happen is people are going to die.
Yes, people will inevitably die from this decision. And all I have to say is, what happened? Who's in charge? Him or the worm?
Him or the worm is such a valid question. And America, we should not forget, this man had a worm in his brain, eating his brain. And that's who's in charge of the Department of Health and Human Services.
Food for thought.
Moving on to something we touched on earlier. Noted anti-vax loser, RFK Jr. is also responsible for the growing measles outbreak across the country. Measles is an incredibly preventable disease, with an effective vaccine and herd immunity eliminating massive outbreaks for decades until now.
Texas has the largest measles outbreak currently, and so far across the country, dozens of people have already died of this disease, with predominantly children affected. RFK Jr. and his anti-vax agenda hugely contributed to the outbreak and the deaths of these children.
Shameful. Instead of promoting vaccines like a sane or competent person, RFK Jr. has decided to promote vitamin A as a way to fight measles. This is not working, of course, because vitamin A is not a cure for measles. What's happening instead is that over 10 children have already been admitted to hospitals with vitamin A toxicity, which causes liver complications in their bodies. And you need a functioning liver in your body, so this isn't like a harmless side effect. This is actively harming children.
Shame on those parents. Shame on RFK. Shame on the anti-vax rhetoric. This was preventable.
Absolutely. This is in every way a failure by the adults in the situation. These children are victims of RFK and their parents.
And for RFK to hear the news about children dying and say that, well, Survival of the fittest.
That is so callous.
Sadistic.
It's evil. The deaths of children, to just write that off, to shrug it off as, oh, it's inevitable. Sir, you deserve to be removed from your position immediately. You deserve to be shamed out of house and home. That is an inhumane position to have. And also, we here at Revolution Report would like to state, if you're anti-vax, you're a loser.
Absolutely.
Like, you don't deserve respect. Your ideology is not founded in fact. It actively harms people, and it's anti-human life. So go kick rocks.
Which is very ironic for a party that seems to be pro-life.
Their pro-life rhetoric and pro-life agenda is not rooted in the love of human life. It's rooted in their hatred of women. They just want to control women. And as soon as the baby's born, they stop caring, because if they actually cared, we'd have better social programs to take care of children. But we don't, because they don't actually care. They're not pro-life. They're pro-domination and pro-eugenics.
Speaking about anti-vax nonsense, the HHS, under the direction of RFK Jr., has stated that they will begin introducing placebo trials in vaccine testing. According to the BBC, officials have indicated that COVID-19 vaccines could be included in the placebo testing. This will inevitably lead to Americans being denied life-saving vaccines. If you do not see the blatant eugenics in this, he, of all people, has access to statistics, to information. He is the head of the HHS.
Yeah.
To blatantly ignore science, you know it works.
Mm-hmm.
You know it works. What he is doing right now, again, is survival of the fittest.
And it's also, especially with the potential inclusion of COVID-19 vaccines being included in placebo testing, it's also racist, because Black and brown populations were the most affected by COVID-19.
Yes, which is not shocking that this is their stance and this is what they are doing. They have the statistics. They have all the information in front of them. They absolutely know what they're doing. And especially with the eugenics that is being implemented with ICE in this country, this is not a shocking correlation.
It's not at all. If any new listeners want some context about our conversations on ICE, go listen to a previous episode. Also, all of these plans that RFK Jr. is touting fall right in line with Project 2025's white supremacist agenda. So for people who don't know what that is, go check out our episode on Project 2025. We break it down. We break down the Heritage Foundation and their racist plans. And you'll get an idea of how this all fits into their big picture plan for the destruction of America. But yeah, what do you say other than you want people to die?
You do. There's no way around it. Please be safe. Please wear a mask. Please wash your hands thoroughly. Please just be smart about it, because right now we have officials in office who do not care about you, who do not care about your safety, who would actually rather have you dead. Because that means they don't have to help you. That means they don't have to give you money. That means they don't have to pay you.
Exactly. Sarah is 100% on the money. And also watch out for grifters like Joe Rogan selling you supplements and pills, and RFK Jr. peddling ideas like the vitamin A nonsense. That's not going to help you. That is not going to help you. Be aware, be conscious in your media consumption. Do actual research, not research that leads you to unsubstantiated blogs that don't have any actual scientific backing. Be intentional when you're taking care of your body, because your life could quite literally be on the line, as evidenced by everything that we've discussed.
Yes, and this is coming from a former researcher.
Yes.
So please take what she is saying as fact.
Please be intelligent. We have faith in listeners of Revolution Report, but also look out for your family members.
Please, yes. RFK Jr. is also heading one of the most terrifying campaigns currently in the States. Under his order, the National Institute of Health is collecting private medical records of American citizens to, quote, study autism. A registry is being created of autistic people, which should be scary to anyone capable of complex thought. RFK Jr. claims he is doing this in the name of, quote, preventing autism, which, of course, is eugenic and nonsensical.
It is, yeah.
Not only is this registry a clear violation of HIPAA and people's right to privacy, this is a horrifying and evil omen for the country, especially with Medicare and Medi-Cal teaming up with him to give him that data. This should be a wake-up call to many, many people that he is not trying to cure autism. He's trying to kill people with autism. And I do not say that lightly. What he is actively doing and what I foresee is he is going to be determining who gets benefits and who doesn't. That is the only reason you would team up with Medi-Cal and Medicaid. In my mind, that is the only reason you would ever be doing that.
And it's such a worrying invasion of privacy that Medicare and Medicaid are agreeing to this. It's
shame on you. Shame on you.
Absolutely. There's clearly no regard for the humanity and safety of the people who rely on them for healthcare.
This has been the Ides of March second coming. And I do not say that lightly. This has been one of the biggest backstabs to the American people that we have seen. Living is a right. People with autism deserve to live and deserve to be here. And the fact that we have to say that is absurd. He went on the record and he decided to say that autistic people cannot play baseball, cannot even wipe their own ass. I know plenty of autistic people, and they are much more capable than RFK Jr. will ever be. They have more grit, they have more strength, and to sit there and to say that openly to the American public is a failure of the American public. And I do not say that lightly. I have been screaming about this for years. I have been doing research for years about how ableism is horrible. And we need to take it seriously as a country and a world.
Absolutely. I can certainly back Sarah up in that she's been studying this for literal years. And something that you pointed out to me when we were discussing this just between us earlier is that this registry is a really scary reminder and echo of the past.
Yes. What is very terrifying about lists like these is they are reminiscent of a horrific, and I will say recent past. Jewish people and people of color and disabled people were put on registries in Nazi Germany. They did not make it out alive. Since this administration loves to echo the past, we are in for a very, very scary time. And that is why people need to take ableism seriously. This is not a joking matter. I blame the American culture for him feeling comfortable enough to say something so horrific.
Agreed 100%.
People making fun of autism online, people actively using autism as a slur. You have all contributed to this man feeling safe enough to come out with this rhetoric. You all planted the seed for him and his stupid ideology. Anyone that participated in that should be ashamed. Hang your head low and shut up.
Agreed 100%. And we're seeing even more than just this registry as a parallel to the past. RFK Jr. a couple months ago spoke about wanting to create what are effectively labor camps.
You know, I thought long and hard about this. I don't believe the labor camps are going to come to fruition. I don't. Not because of moral reasons. Because of his own ideology. I don't think labor camps are going to come about because of ableism. Not for any moral reason, just because he thinks they can't work. They can't do it.
And that is a damning indictment of America, because we already do have labor camps in this country. That's what prisons are. We already have detention camps that are almost effectively concentration camps for migrants. Yeah. And in American history, we also have examples of concentration camps in our own country. We call them internment camps, but the Japanese were put into what are actually concentration camps here on American soil. So it's not a crazy stretch of the imagination.
It's not far-fetched.
It's not at all. And I think you're right as to why those labor camps in particular won't come to fruition, but he felt comfortable enough to say that.
And that speaks to the culture we have created.
I think one of the most effective ways that people who are opposed to this ideology, which everyone should be, I think one of the most effective ways to suppress that ideology, to make it less acceptable to share those ideas in public like they currently are, is to start using shame. We need to shame these people and say, no, you're not going to say that around me. If you hear your friends saying something ableist, speak up. Say, no, you don't get to speak like that. Not around me. If you see that online, say it's embarrassing that you think like that. Don't treat people with respect that they're not giving to other people. Start shaming people so that way these ideas are not acceptable to say. Shame is a very effective tool. Yeah. People don't like to be embarrassed.
Use it wisely.
Exactly. Moral of the story, shame people who have shameful ideology. That does not make you mean. That means you are standing up for what is right.
Period.
RFK is a fool and we don't respect him.
We don't respect him, and we don't respect people that have made him feel comfortable enough to say this.
And we want to encourage the listeners of Revolution Report to be intentional with the language that you use. Interrogate your own ideologies, your own beliefs. You can unlearn things. You may have ideas that society taught you, because that's how ideology works. It seeps in through schools, through media that you consume, through institutions like churches, things like that. It's impossible to escape a dominant culture's ideology. It's impossible to escape it. But that doesn't mean you have to always believe what you've been conditioned to believe. You can change your mind. You can unpack. You can unlearn. You can deconstruct. And we want to encourage the listeners of Revolution Report to take stock of ideas that you hold, take stock of things that you believed to be true, took as common sense, and sit with yourself and say, do I actually believe that? Is that a just and fair and humane and equitable point of view? Or is that something that I've been conditioned to believe because society profits on hateful ideology? Sit with yourself, ask yourself those questions, do the work to deconstruct, and help the people around you deconstruct as well. And that's how we're going to be able to push back against this hate, because if people don't believe it, if they don't support it, these ideas will be shameful, and there's not going to be a platform for absolute evil nonsense like this to be spewed.
Agreed wholeheartedly.
That was an intense episode, but we hope you learned something. Remember, it's healthy and okay to interrogate your own beliefs and to change your mind as you learn more information.
As always, useful resources based on our conversation will be linked on our website, hamblecourtradio.com. We're going to include a link to the Autistic Self-Advocacy Network and a link to Feeding America's Food Bank locator for anyone who needs to find a food bank near them. You can follow us on Blue Sky at Hamble Court Radio, and you can also follow me there at Sarah Livings Walsh.
I'm there as Not Like Mona Lisa. Don't forget to rate, review, and follow us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts.
And with that, I'm Sarah Livings Walsh.
I'm Analisa Venolia.
And this has been Revolution Report.
Well,